Welcome back. All right, so hopefully you're in the back end of your website, and I'm going to show you something. I decided since we're kind of using the tackle and fishing supplies as an example, I've decided to change the logo. Since that other logo I had was just some basic thing I found on the internet to something I just quickly did up for this. I went and changed it. I'm going to show you again where to go do that really quick. So I'm in the back end of my site. I'm down at theme options under general settings and header settings. And I've gone and I've set two logos down here. First, the logo image, which is actually a white rendition of my image. You can barely see it. And a colored one for the fixed header. Once I've set those in there, I click Save Changes. And so I've turned what this was into something a little nicer like this. And when I scroll down, it's a color logo. So now it's becoming a little bit more like a store that I'm building instead of that nuclear ink thing. So that just shows you that you can go in there really easy, change your stuff around, and actually make it look amazing just by putting a nice logo in there. So I'm going to start using this this sort of a burnt orange color as well, probably in some of the features that we have. So see if we can bring that into the rest of the site as well, which is something you definitely want to do. This video though is going to be about images and this rev slider. So I'm going to show you how to update this rev slider here, and we're going to make it more like how we need in our store instead of from the demo. And then after that, it's going to be a video specifically on how to resize images and cut them so that we can put them in here and make them look nice. So that way everything is proportionate and in the right way it should be. Okay, on to the back of our site again. So I'm just going to go over here to the dashboard, and what you can do if you have a bunch of tabs like I do up here, you can go ahead and feel free to close some of this stuff off just to make it nice and clean. And here we are. I like to use lots of tabs so I can come back to wherever I was working without having to find it again or things like that. Okay, so once you're in the back end of your site, each page, like if I was to go back to that home page, it should have, and I'll see if I can bring it up there. So front page, we know it's a front page because it says front page on it in that gray text. And when I bring that up, now remember, I can't save this because this this call to action, where is it? It gets messed up. So I have to be careful about that. I'm not going to touch that part of it, and I'm not going to save it. I just want to show you there's a revolution slider here. And so to edit it, I would click here and I would change which slider I would have underneath here. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go edit this. Not here. I don't edit it here. I actually edit it at the revolution slider plugin. So I'm just going to close this. I wanted to show you where it was. It is an element that's in our page. And you can actually add a revolution slider anywhere you want. So if we go down our page here, we're going to find one, the menu here, we're going to find one called Slider Revolution, and we're going to click on that. And that's going to bring us to this new page. Now, as we saw one that said home and another one simple. And this was from the previous one. We had the guys with the beards on, and I decided to change that up for a different one because I liked the elements and the way the pages was set up a little bit better under this other one. So if I can see these two sliders, we can create a new one, or we can use the one that exists. So let's look at that first and see how it's set up. So if I click this button here, this edit button, it's going to bring up a dialog. Now there's quite a bit of information in here. Please try not to get overwhelmed. It's not as difficult as it looks. It's actually quite easy. Everything is click and drag, and we can see our thing here. Now, unfortunately, my viewport window is quite small. If you've got a nice big monitor, you're going to see a lot more of this, but that's okay. We can use these to slide back and forth, up and down, and we can be able to edit it. So we can see that slide there. And we also have, I'm just coming back up to the top, we have some of the controls up here. We have the ability to save it. If we wanted to do any technical stuff, we can, or some settings here, which we're not going to need to worry about on this one. And one of the reasons why I like to use a slide that's already made, because all of the settings for it, everything is kind of done. So it's the right size I need it to be at, and I don't need to mess with it. You know, if you're advanced, you can create a brand new slider, and you can add new elements and make it look really cool. But if you want to do this quick and have it nice and slick, use what's already made. So let's do that. I'm just going to do a little bit more orientation so we know exactly what we're going to do. So this here, this has different tabs. The main background tab is the main background of this thing here. So you can actually have an image. They had colors. They had a red color. I'm actually going to change this to an image because I much more prefer a nice big image. You can even do something as cool as have a YouTube video running in the background, auto playing without sound. So you have a nice thing like that, nice YouTube video. Now, as I can see, there's obviously an image that's over top. Like you can see how now when I unselected color, you see that part of it disappeared there. Whenever you see this, let me go back to maybe this one here. Whenever you see these little hashes or this little pattern, that means it's transparent. You should, I'm actually seeing to whatever would normally be sitting in a background. So if I actually uploaded an image, you'll only see a little part of the image in the back. And that's because there's an image actually covering over top that. So we're going to find out where that is, and we're going to change stuff around here. So let's first find out how big we need to make this make our image first, and we're going to have a main background image. So we're going to do a little reconnaissance around the size of this. Now to do that, what we want to do is go over here where it says slider settings, right click on it, and open link in a new tab. That's going to open this new tab, and it's going to show me what the settings are for this slider. So I'm going to scroll down and see what we have here. So we have, it shows as full screen. So desktop size large max. So it's going to fill the screen. And so the settings here is 1440 by 1440 pics. That's huge. So we're going to have to look and see exactly we have to make our image to. So I'm going to copy this information down, and we're going to go and see if we can't get an image that is that. Now, because this is quite large, the file size is going to be quite large. So we might have to do something a little bit more different to try and scale or get the size of this thing down a little bit, or you have to lower the quality of your image. Now, there's things that you can do to kind of trick somebody into thinking that they're having a good image on there, even though you actually have a poor quality one. And by what I mean by poor quality is that the image is stretched, and it's putting in less information so that the when you're actually using the site, it's not going to take forever for the site to load. Because if you have a whole bunch of high quality lots of information traveling back and forth between people's browsers and the servers, people are going to drop off your site, especially if it takes longer than 5 seconds for the page to load. So we're going to try to minimize that as much as possible. Rev Slider can really take up a lot of resources. So let's go try and do that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to quickly jump into the next video, which will be strictly about images. And what we're going to do is we're going to create some images specifically for a Rev Slider. And we're going to do some resizing and things like that to get an idea and a feel for how to do pictures and how to cut them or resize them.